So that was one. I passed. I went, I'm good.
Wah, wah.
I've got another one that is technically in the works. We shall see. It's another motel.
Which now I know means the doors are all on the outside and you can park in front of them and just go in
Yes.
like your own separate
Technically,
unit.
though, this one is called an inn. It's a motel inn, and I don't know what the
Great.
difference is for that.
What's the difference for that?
I don't know. I haven't looked it up.
It's,
Now, here's
an inn is just in a quaint spot that looks cottage-ish and nice.
the crazy part about this one. It's quaint, yeah. They're also asking $1.2 million for it, but it is not for 60 units. There is no restaurant attached. It's 8 units plus a manager's house plus a tiny little home in the back. So 10 units. We'll call it 10 units. Same price, 10 units. Yeah. So
Seems a little overpriced to me.
Well,
but maybe not. I don't know.
if I'm being honest, I think that other 60 unit one's a little overpriced for
what
is
it
that's going on.
actually is.
Oh, I didn't mention on the other one. There's over $400,000 worth of city fines that someone
Oh
has to pay.
goodness sakes!
So
It just gets worse.
I know. Yeah. So
All right.
but yeah. So interesting. Both motels, both the same price, but two very different sizes.
Okay.
Of stuff. This one's kind of an interesting one. It is owned by an older couple. They also own it free and clear. They bought it with cash. I think it was like 13 years ago is what they said. And they lived in it for most of the time and just ran it. Like this was what they did.
Kind of like a B&B without the B.
Yeah. It's a mom and pop little inn, very homey. All the decorations are very like eclectic.
Yeah,
I think is
sure.
how I would describe
Okay.
it. Yeah. I've it was nice and sunny out, so I actually brought my drone.
So it's
and
all,
I got
all
some photos.
like all the units are furnished, and
Yes.
they run it like a motel.
Oh yeah. No, it's a
Okay.
motel.
Interesting.
8 of them are like motels.
Okay.
Yeah.
The manager
and
house
by the way,
and the other
like,
house are not.
It's right on Highway 99, and across the street is the Rogue River. Like you can see it, and they have a private dock that's theirs also to the Rogue River.
I don't think you told
And
me
it's
about
only
that.
like a
That's kinda
two-way
nice.
highway, so it's not like it's
Yeah.
big. It's like
Yeah.
it's like across the
That's nice.
road, boom, you're in the water, and
probably beautiful.
and you can see it from the property. It's really
Okay.
cool, actually.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's a pool that's there, which in the middle of winter is gross. But apparently, they spent a significant amount of money to make sure it's a heated pool, and they can get up to
Oh.
80 degrees.
Wow.
Which again, you're still gonna feel cold because it's still cooler than your body temperature.
Sure, but
But it's like you could swim in it well into fall, which is kind of cool. I'm kind of like, how do we get that up to like 100 degrees? Like
tub
it's only
pool?
20 more degrees,
Oh,
right?
my word. That's a lot.
I know. It would
That's a
be
lot of water
Oh my
to heat up.
Yeah, it is a lot of water. What was the other? So for the house in the back, apparently at one point in time it was a duplex that got converted into just a single family home.
Huh.
And I'll be honest,
the
like
opposite way.
I look at it and I don't know how it was ever a duplex. It's a small single family home.
All right.
Kind of reminds me of the one we looked at today, actually.
You're like, okay.
Yeah, we were helping some friends move, and that's
Could make
they're
that 2
converting a
units,
single family
but
home into a duplex by converting the
Very
garage.
tiny unit.
Now, this one also has a garage that is just storage right now.
Okay.
And in theory, like that's actually what I would do. I would turn that garage into like probably a
Living
one-unit
space.
living space as well, because you just don't need the garage, I think. Or you just rent out the garage for $250 a month, and if the tenants want to do that, cool. Or if someone else wants to do it, cool. That's probably the easiest route to go. They are all furnished. Interestingly, what we learned. So we were there for a few hours talking with her. The tour doesn't take that long, but she's kind of a talker, which is totally cool, and I don't mind it at all. I like hearing all the stories and the facts and how it all happened. So they ran it for like 13 years. I think they ran it for 11 years living on site. And then what they did was they were like, okay, we're ready for something new. They wanted to move back to their own house, or maybe they bought a house, whatever. They moved out, and then they hired someone to manage the property for them, who then moved into the manager's house. And this manager's house is like it's a 3-2 home, just kind of like attached or integrated into it. It's kind of a weird, it's just there.
Yeah.
And there's an upstairs and a downstairs. It's a thing. And they did not run it very well at all. Not only were their bookings half of what they would normally do. So when they were running it in person, they were making about $200,000 a year. When they brought in these managers, the revenue they were bringing in was about $100,000 a year, like significantly less.
Yeah.
And according to her, they did a horrible job of cleaning. So like she would just find stuff. Like she gave an example of, you know, how like you have like those fake nails stick on things. Like I just found one in the middle of the room. Like,
Ew.
That shouldn't be there.
Like obviously was not vacuumed.
Correct. They found what do you want to call it? Just found a condom in the middle of the room as well. It was like, oh, that's gross. Dirty underwear, that kind of stuff. We're like, how do you? Which I'm kind of like, yeah, that does seem like it should be pretty obvious. I get
those
like
seem like obvious things.
You forget stuff every once in a while. Like I get it, but these were like when she went through and inspected, like these are the types of things that she found.
Yeah.
In one sitting, and she was like, oh, this is just like horrible.
Yeah.
And
well, it's the kind of thing like if you were to put your customer hat on and you walked into a room
right.
that you expected to be clean, a place to stay that you're paying money to stay at, you would be like, what in the world? Like, this is disgusting. Ew.
Which apparently, I asked her, how did you find these people? And she said that they had another rental and they had rented to them for a few years. And they're like, they were clean. They was always nice. And so then there's like, would you like to run this thing? Huh. And they're like, yeah, sure.
So they were tenants.
Yes. But
they didn't have business
apparently
experience.
They had managed another motel somewhere else at one point in time.
At least they said they did.
Like, yes, exactly. What was super interesting is, so she's telling all this story and we're sitting in the manager's house living room. Mm-hmm. And there's a nice couch there. There's a heater that's like a gas fireplace. That was super nice, actually. I hung out there most of the time. She's sitting in this nice, comfortable chair. There's a table. There's a big screen television, like a 65-inch big screen television there. I'm like, man, this is pretty nice. Mm-hmm. And we're talking, and she goes, yeah. She goes, I fired them. She goes, and they just left, including all their furniture. And I went, wait, like, this is their stuff that we're sitting on. She goes, yeah. Oh, yeah. She goes, I don't live here. Like, this is all their stuff. They just left it all.
When that place wasn't furnished when they hired these people?
Nope. Nope, it wasn't. Because it was like a long-term rental.
So weird.
Yeah, so they just left all their stuff. They just went, all right, I guess we're out. And there's like a ton of food on the counter. I'm like, is that also theirs? Which this all happened, I think all this went down, I think it was like 10 months ago now. I like the face you're giving me. It's like, oh man.
So that could, yeah.
I definitely,
that could be
we'll use that for the thumbnail.
Your thumbnail. Like,
yeah, no, it was super interesting. Like
what in the world?
Dude, I don't know.
It seems like there's things not quite lining up in that story.
So she's also super, super old school. Like, everything is on pen and paper. She only does phone calls. Even on their website, they have a website. So there's that, which her son put together. And there's a huge banner that says, do not book online. Only call this phone number if you want to stay there. And the way that they track all the stays is she has one of those bigger calendars, like a
desk calendar.
How big are we gonna call that? It's like a 2 foot by 2.5 foot. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's quite 3 foot. Yeah, one of those big desks ones.
Yeah,
and she literally has 8. She puts 8 lines going across, and those are each of the rooms. Mm-hmm. And then she writes in the person's name, and then we'll do an arrow for however many days that they're staying there.
Oh, my word.
Which actually was super cool because she had 3 years worth of them. And she just was like...
Here. She just kept them.
Yeah. And she was like, here, flip through. You can see how full they were. Because I asked her a question. I was like, well, how, like... Eventually, I was asking, like, what's your vacancy rate on this thing? Because that was nowhere on the paperwork she sent me. She's like, here, I'll show you. I was like, all right. So I, like, bust out my phone, click, click, click. Just started taking pictures so I could actually count it and figure out the numbers later. She doesn't have it all. And you could very clearly see when they were managing it what it looked like versus when the other people were there. Mm-hmm. It looked like it was not nearly as full. You're like, okay, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Well, I would imagine, like, did the owners do any marketing, or like how did they get people to find out about it?
Primarily, yeah, that's a great question. I guess there's a Best Western nearby that would send a lot of people their way. Like whenever it was either they were full, or the customer had cats, or they were wanting to pay in cash. Uh-huh. And so she said they would get all sorts of referrals from Best Western all the time from people like that. Yeah, because they allow pets. They actually have a pet run area in the back.
Cool.
Which is kind of neat, I guess. Allow pets, sure.
It's a thing.
They had ashtrays on the outside, so apparently they allow some sort of smoking. But each of the rooms smelled fine. I didn't I don't walk in and go, oh boy.
Yeah.
What else? it sounded like she had a lot of repeat customers. And so for me, I started thinking about it where I was like, okay, what makes this place special and unique? And I don't know, honestly, there's not much outside of this owner. She's the one who screens all the tenants, or not tenants. She runs the front office, and she's a personality. And I think that's the draw.
She's a connector.
Yeah, exactly. And she said they have a lot of repeat business, people who come back year after year after year, like this is their thing. So I don't know. So we're looking at it. I think there's some interesting possibilities from a how you structure the deal standpoint that could potentially work. For me, obviously, we're not going to move down there. This is also in Grants Pass, by the way. We're not going to move down there. And so the question would be like, okay, how do you run this thing remotely, or at least bring in someone, partner with someone who can run it, where the incentives are aligned, where they want to maximize and do well.
Yeah.
And I don't know, because part of me says if I can figure out how to manage it remotely, that means I can rent out that manager's unit in addition to that back one and just increase the revenue significantly. The way that the manager's unit is split up too, because there's this top and bottom level, I actually think you could potentially cut off that top level and turn that, like add a door, an entryway, and just add a motel unit essentially to it. It's big enough. You could totally do it. It's bigger than some of the other units. And you maybe have to add a kitchen area, I guess. I don't know how important that is. And then for the downstairs, again, you can make that a nice unit, I guess. There's a hot tub that apparently doesn't work. That's there. So it's just kind of an interesting thing. So we're in active conversations. This thing was on the market for a very long time. They got a lot of interest, surprisingly, from a lot of people on the East Coast who were interested in it. And for whatever reason, it had a bunch of looky-loos. No one ever looked into it. She's had multiple other people who were very serious, but for whatever reason, they've all fallen through. It's currently not on the market, and she's just kind of like, I don't know what to do. And so, so we took a tour, and talking with my guy who would partner with me on this, he was like, I think it would behoove us to meet her in person and actually walk through it. He's like, to the point where it's like, it's not even worth making an offer unless she sees you and talks to you.
Right.
She's that kind of person.
Yeah.
And so that was why we drove down. That was why we spent a few hours there.
Makes
so
sense.
that I could ultimately, just see the place, get an idea for the condition, ask some questions, figure out how it works, but then ultimately have that relationship so that I can make an offer and try to structure it in such a way that is a win-win for everybody. Because she's tired. She wants out.
Yeah.
It's not worth 1.2, unfortunately.
So give me the like, whatever, 30-second. Here's how much it costs. Here's how much we'd have to raise. Here's how much rehab would be before we run it. Here's how the revenue we would expect.
So if I bought it for 1.2, and let's presume that I can make $200,000 a year on it, doing what she did, which I think is reasonable because her prices are very low. The net operating income is about $76,000 a year. I actually have my laptop here in case you get really specific about it. And so the question would be, how do we structure the debt in such a way that it's like half that number? It's like $40,000 a year. That's kind of the range where this would suddenly start to make sense. Yeah. And so, I mean, one option is you go to the Small Business Administration, the SBA, because technically it's a business and I would be occupying the property as a business, and you apply for a loan there. And then you just got to come up with a down payment and figure out whatever the repairs are. And you'd raise funds for the down payment and the repairs. And kind of go
so what would the SBA give you money for?
To buy the property. Like they'd give me a 90% loan, actually.
Interesting.
Yeah, you can get a 90% loan.
I didn't realize you could do that.
Yeah. Technically, we could do that with our storage facility, by the way, because we are running a business.
It's a business.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it is very interesting. The problem is that she doesn't have any books. She does everything by pen and paper. And so someone would have to go in and like spend probably at least a day, maybe spend the night at the motel, who knows, and turn it all into, right? Turn it into an official, like, here's a P&L. It's structured in a way that the SBA underwriter would understand. Because, I mean, I could totally tell a story of like, oh, here's the situation, here's what's going on, here's what we're going to buy it.
But they still need documentation.
Yeah, and the underwriter's not going to hear any of that. They purposely keep them separate from me, so I can't tell the story.
Yeah.
I mean, in theory, I could go to a commercial bank and get just a regular commercial loan for it. That is an option. And they actually would listen to the story, and I could put together a business plan and show how it's all going to work and influence them that way.
Wouldn't they still at some point need the underwriting and books? And,
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that would be that route. And I would have to...
but they wouldn't give you 90% down.
Probably not.
Yeah.
But it would just be a lot of work to get there. But, for the right price, which based on all my math and what I did, if I'm going down that route, honestly, it's worth like $800,000, which isn't bad. I mean, for where they're at, but like, that's honestly what the value is. And that's the kind of thing where I'd have to communicate that to her of like, hey, look, we can go down this path. It's going to be worth like this much because of the loans and the ratios and, all that stuff I got to hit. Like, that's what it could be. But you would get cashed out. So, that's cool. You'd have to pay the capital gains tax on it and, play that game. So that's one route. There's a more creative financing route that you can go down where you can say, look, I know you want to get 1.2. I think I'd still come back and say, honestly, it's not worth that because there's just some repairs and stuff that have to happen. But maybe it's worth $1 million. That's an extra $200,000. And tell her, what if we structure the payments in such a way that I'm only paying, let's say, $40,000 a year or however that comes out to monthly. And you go, what if I'm paying that? And then there's a balloon that happens in 10 years where whatever the balance is, boom, you're going to get that as a lump sum. And that gives me 10 years to go in, actually run the place, create, with QuickBooks, a proper P&L that a bank would like, figure out the operations myself, go through, make repairs, genuinely make the place more valuable, increase the rents on the place because you can, because it's now a better property, better experience for people. And then you refinance it 10 years from now with an SBA
Why 10
loan.
years?
Oh, I don't know, just because.
Like, could you do that in 3 years?
Yeah, totally. You could do it sooner. Yeah.
10 years just sounds like a long time.
Well, the point of 10 years is in that amount of time, property values will have gone up, period. Whatever cycles are happening, it doesn't matter anymore. If she's giving me a great rate, there's no reason for me to take that.
Well, and if she's giving you seller financing, she's getting paid each month.
Yeah, exactly. So it's reducing her capital gains.
She's not managing it and dealing with it, which is kind of...
Yeah, that's the point.
She wants to get rid of.
She's replaced the management with income instead of a lump sum.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the way I would push that to her.
Gives you some time.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of the thought behind that. And I'll probably present both. Like, hey, which way do you want to go? This one is also going to be like a 120-day close because working with the SBA is just like that. And part of that time is going to be like me sitting there going through all of your stuff, helping you create it. I have skills in making two numbers that are close but don't quite meshing perfectly. That's things I used to do. So I could totally do it, and I know it, assuming they have the data, and knowing what their calendar is, and knowing that they haven't changed their rates in 5 years, and knowing what the final answer is supposed to be.
Yeah,
I'm like, probably I could do it.
Figure it out.
It would take some time, but I could create a monthly P&L and figure it all out. So that's kind of where I'm at. And so we'll see what they do. I don't know. We're in the middle of this one. And I would love to maybe give an update eventually on how it all goes down. But anyways.
Question.
Yes. Question away.
Kind of related, but not really. Let's say you do
not really.
Get this motel and you're running it like a motel.
Yeah.
Could we use it?
Like a motel? Sure.
Yes. Well, not for us, but like could our church use it for like retreats and stuff? And just like we would
Yeah, totally.
block the time. But you could like block out sections of time ahead of time, knowing like, church is going to regularly use this as a... That'd be cool.
I suppose so. Yeah, that could totally work.
Like home leader retreat could happen
Yeah,
there.
I mean, it's a 3-hour drive to get there. It's not the most convenient thing ever, but yeah, totally. That's an option.
Interesting.
Yeah, so for me, I think I continue to run it as a motel. That'd be the goal. In theory, like all these could turn into long-term rentals if I really wanted to. That's probably how I would underwrite it and pitch it.
Sure.
It would turn that.
But if you find the right person to run it, you could do it like the motel, and it wouldn't be a big deal.
Yeah, I think I don't know them personally, but my potential partner, he knows some people who run. I think it's an 8-unit motel. And 100% remote. They all live in San Diego.
Interesting.
So, like, it can be done.
Can be done.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think there's just a good learning process on how to do that. So that's honestly how I would go about doing it. Just be remote. And
cool.
And then obviously you'd hire local people to clean the rooms, to check the pool, mow the lawn, do the maintenance stuff. Like, all that would happen, but you could do it all remote. And I think that's the way to go and do it. So.
And then we go visit every once.
That's what we're doing. So that's what we're looking at. That's the latest activity that I've had. And yeah.
Ugh, you just said the word activity. It made me think of rodent activity.
Fair enough. It's the latest
Deals.
Latest deals we've been looking at.
Potential deals you're looking at.
Anyways, just want to share a little bit of like, hey, here's the mindset, here's what we're thinking, here's how we're processing.
I like it.
Going through without necessarily getting
that was
bogged down
helpful
by all the
because you gave me the basics, but I need to hear things lots of times before I remember.
Yeah, no.
Okay, can you tell me the code names for them?
The code names.
Yeah, like the motel restaurant.
I've been calling it the Cozy Cove property.
Okay, Cozy Cove.
That is not where it's located. It's in
Junction
or Cove Junction or Junction Cove, one of those two. But I've been calling
Cozy
it
Cove.
Cozy Cove.
Well, I know you named them so that we can keep them all separate. Because you're like, the motel one. I'm like, there's different motel ones.
I know you're not going to know the answer to this, so I'm going to ask it, and I'm not going to pay it off. But what's the name of the city that the Power Rangers live in? Do you remember that? I feel like the word cove is in there. That's something my brother would be like, I know this answer.
I have no idea. Power Ranger City.
Cottage Grove? I don't know.
Cottage Grove is an actual city.
All right, hold on. I want you to somehow. I gotta look this up real quick. Because now I gotta pay it off. That's not fair for me.
Okay, and the other property, the one you were just telling me about, the motel by the river. What are you calling that one?
Angel Grove. All right.
Really? Okay, Angel Grove. There you go.
That's what I keep thinking in my head when I think Cozy Cove. Angel Grove. All right. I'm just gonna call it by the property name itself. Maybe just call it Bella or something like that.
Bella. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know.
I need names to keep them all separate.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, just you're like, that one deal, and I'm like,
that one.
No,
the motel.
I don't. Like which motel?
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, there it is. Kind of fun. And if you enjoyed this podcast, we would appreciate it if you left a quick rating wherever you listen to your podcast. That would be super awesome. So with that, thanks for listening and have a great day.